Hello, hi guys. So guys, like day before yesterday, I created some post in a LinkedIn regarding C++. And this is that example. So here I have a class called animal. And also just I'm printing some values inside a constructor, which is nothing but a constructor. And here I am creating an instance of this animal, but using a small braces. So after posting this post, so I received a lot of comments from all of you guys. So that's why I thought of taking this example and let me explain you like what exactly is happening here. So let me jump into our program. So here just I simply reproduce the same program here. And the only difference is here I am creating an instance using this syntax animal A. So as soon as I create an instance like this, what happens? So here an instance of animal is getting created inside this stack and also the constructor getting called. So there is no wonder, right? So let me compile this one, C++ main.cpp. And once if I execute this one, here you can see there is a constructor is getting called and inside main is also getting printed. But as soon as I put a small braces here, so let's see like what happens. I compiled it. So but it has given some warning. So let's ignore that warning and let me execute the a.out. So as soon as I execute this a.out here, you can see there is only int main. So what exactly is happening here? And here you can see in the warning, you can read that one empty parenthesis but disambiguated as a function declaration. So basically what is happening is, so whenever I do something like animal A with some braces, something like this, so many people thinks that one, it will call a default constructor. So let me simply try to introduce some value int A or something like this. And inside this constructor, let us try to print that value. Now, whenever I'm creating an instance, let me pass some value 10. Let me recompile it, execute. Now can you see a constructor is getting called and also the 10 is also getting printed. But what happens if I remove this one? Ideally, the default constructor should have been get called, right? So let me recompile and execute. So here you can see it is not even calling a constructor. So basically what is happening is, so whenever a compiler sees this syntax, it does not think I am creating an instance of animal A here. So rather than that one, it is thinking something like this. I'll copy this one and paste it here. So basically it is like a function declaration. So A is a name of a function which does not take anything, which is nothing but a void here and returns an animal. So let me do something like this. Let me create an instance. Or if you are confused with that syntax, so let me create animal, something like this. So it is creating an animal instance, then it is returning an animal instance. So let us forget about all the copy constructor and all those things. So let us make this one as simple as possible. Now, in order to make that one work, so I have to call that function, right? So here I declared the function and here I am calling that function. So now let us see what happens. Compile, execute. Can you see? There is a constructor and inside main. And also again, it is throwing in warning saying empty parenthesis for disambiguity. So here, where this constructor is getting called. So whether that is calling here or here. So let us try to dig more deeper. So let me put some couts. So I'll say inside a function. Similarly, let me put here something. So here, let's say calling a \n. So let me recompile, execute. So can you see here? So first it is calling A, the function A, and it went inside this one A. So that means a constructor is getting called as soon as the animal is called in this syntax. So that means here I am creating an instance, then this animal object I am returning. So that is what it is happening here. So that's why it is giving a warning saying the empty parenthesis whenever I do something like this here. So it is like a declaration. So it is thinking that this is a function declaration. So that's why it is giving a warning saying it is a vexing parse. So this is called a most vexing parse problem. So basically in C++, what happens is whenever a compiler sees a statement something like this, it thinks it's a function declaration. So that is where here you can see I can call this function. So it is like a function calling. So from here, simply if I do something like this, so directly it will create an instance. If I do something like this, so then directly it is calling this, it is declaring a function which returns an animal, and also here it does not take any argument. So that function I am just calling here. So in order to make this one compilation free, just I can move this one here. So that means here I am declaring and here I am defining. So if I want to, in a C++, here it is not needed because anyway it is completely defined here. So let me go and compile it again. So can you see here? So it is compiling fine. So that means this is what it is looking into. So now how to avoid that one? So in order to avoid that one, there are two ways. So one is simply create an instance, something like this. And the other way is using brace. So this is the modern way of creating an instance. So this is a modern C++ syntax. So now if I try to compile this one and try to execute, can you see a constructor is getting called and calling a. So this is giving a wrong information. Let me comment out this one and compile it again and execute a.out. Now can you see a constructor is getting called? Now the other way of returning instance from here is, you no need to call this animal, simply you can make this one as a empty. So that means an object is getting created here itself of type this animal. So that is what it is happening there. So now if I simply call a, compile, execute, can you see inside a and the constructor is called, constructor is getting called and inside main is getting printed. So this is called most vexing parse problem. So this is like how so many juniors get confused whenever a new developer comes in. So what always he thinks is, so this is animal A, so there is an instance which is getting created. He expects it has to be called with the default constructor, but that is not how it works. So this is what the post all about, guys. So this is called a vexing parse problem in a C++. Thank you.